A lot more ahead here on GMA3 on this Friday. The graduate at one of the nation's top schools celebrating much more than a diploma, making history on that stage. The GMA3 exclusive conversation coming up.
Welcome back to GMA3. It's college graduation season, and today we are joined by one impressive graduate. Just made history at the University of Southern California.
That's right. She is USC's first black valedictorian in the university's 140-year history. So please, everyone, welcome Tianna Shaw-Wakeman to GMA3. Tianna, congratulations to you. And as I ask you what it was like when you found out officially that you were going to be valedictorian, I heard you were shocked. You were really shocked? You had no idea it was going to be you?
I was floored, completely shocked. Well, first, thank you so much for having me. And yes, I was completely surprised. I think my freshman year, I had a hard time adjusting to the academic rigor of USC. So if you'd asked me 4.5 years ago if I would have been selected, I definitely would have said no. But thinking about my parents and all the sacrifices they made and thinking about just the 4.5 years that I had, I was excited and so happy once it kind of settled in.
You talk about adjusting to the academic rigors. It was kind of a shell shock as well. You were born in Texas, spent some time in South Carolina, if I think I have it right, but you're essentially from Nashville, Tennessee. And the first time you set foot on that campus was for freshman orientation at USC. You were a fish out of water in a lot of ways, and it's a campus that the black population is 5.5% African American. What was that real? It's one thing, academic rigors, but the rest of that, how difficult was it to make that kind of adjustment?
You know, that's a really good question. I think it wasn't so much a culture shock. I just definitely was aware that I was different. I was aware that because I was black, because I was from the South, because my just academic experiences K through 12 were different from those of the people around me, it was much harder to adjust and develop a stronger social network. It was harder for me in my classes, and I think it did take me more time to feel like I was worthy of being at USC and then like I belonged. But once that settled in, then I do feel like I did end up having a wonderful 4 years.
Wow. I mean, what an inspiration you are, because you were shocked that you were the valedictorian this year. But were you also shocked to learn that you were the first black valedictorian in USC's history?
Completely surprised. And I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think that I should be USC's first black university valedictorian. I think that there are thousands of incredible black Trojans in years past who would have been wonderful to hold that title. But with that being said, I am proud to hold it today. And I do think that USC has come a long way in the 4.5 years since I've been there, and I think there are some really wonderful changes taking place in terms of sustainability and in terms of prioritizing DEI.
What are you going to do next? Everybody has that question. I think you said you want a career of service. So what exactly does that mean?
So I got my degrees in psychology and social entrepreneurship, in part because I'm not 100% sure what that will look like. I know that my 4.5 years I spent working on sustainability and environmental activism, and that's a very central part of my life. But I also love education. So next step is I'm going to be teaching at a local nonprofit in Los Angeles, and I'm so excited to get to be with my students again, because I taught there a couple years ago. And then I will actually be job hunting for jobs in sustainability in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And I don't know exactly what the future holds, but I am excited for a career in service, whatever that looks like.
I think it's bright, and I think you're going to help a lot of people. I think we can at least make that prediction. That feels fairly sound. Now, speaking of sustainability, you actually got USC to make a big change. Tell us about that.
Yes, I believe you're referring to the divestment effort. I was one of many students, but I did co-found USC's Divest SC. We started that in December of 2019, though there were students who were pushing forward about 10 years ago. We spent over a year working on the initiative, and in February, USC announced that they are going to liquidate and freeze investments in fossil fuels. And it was a huge win for students, faculty, staff, and the community in LA at large, I think.
Oh my God. Tianna, we have to admit, as you've been talking, we just looked over at each other and just mouthed to each other, she's awesome. You are just a delight, and congratulations. And we know your future is bright, but you've accomplished so much already, and you're just a wonderful, wonderful young woman. Thank you so much for spending some time here with us, and we expect to see you down the road, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, congratulations again. All right. I mean, please, more of her in the world, right?
Please.
It'd be a much better place to live.